Welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast hosted by Rhodey and Diz. The boys will share their tall tales of the one that got away, as well as some regular segments they know all you fishing tragics will enjoy.
G'day and welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast. We're here for episode 109. Dizzy, how are you, mate?
Good. How are you, Rhodey?
Very, very good, Diz. And we have got a big guest today.
We certainly do, Rhodey. Rick from Team Hardcore Fishing. They do a lot of fishing across the state. They've got a great Instagram handle. They do a lot of sharing of posts. They tag us in. We absolutely love everything about Team Hardcore, and it's going to be great to have a chat with Rick later on today. He's been busy. He went down to the RecFish Forums, so we're really keen to pick his brains about how that went, because we unfortunately couldn't get down there. But going to be a good chat with him, Rhodey.
Certainly will, Diz, and him and his mates certainly smashed some fish, Diz. Heaps of Samson fish and kingfish, which we are very jealous of always.
Yes, absolutely, mate. Let's get into our usual segments. Of course, we kick off with oranges and lemons. What is your orange for the fortnight been?
Dizzy, it was good to get the boat out again on the weekend. And in saying that, it was made even better because it wasn't our boat. It was your dad's boat. He put the boat in the water. He cleaned the boat. He did all the work. We just literally went for a fish and said, see you later, Davo.
Yeah, it was. It was. We really did get the red carpet rolled out for us. Bacon and eggs cooked by the time we got there. We had an early alarm.
Shout out to Di. Well done.
Well done, Di. Yeah, it was... We did. We got the absolute royal treatment there, so nothing to complain about.
We will touch on the fishing side of things a bit later, but we did okay.
Yeah, I think we gave ourselves just a pass mark.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I think
Yeah.
it was a pass mark. The squid probably dragged us over the line.
Yeah, the squid dragged us over the line. Fantastic weather. Let's not give too much away about it, mate. We're just in oranges and lemons. We'll talk a bit about that later on. I'll roll that into my orange, mate. It's been a great week. We've been talking amongst the little punters club that we've going. The AFL Grand Final is getting some traction. We've selected some accommodation. We've got people locking in, some doing Thursday to Sunday, some doing Friday to Sunday. It's building. The momentum is building.
Dizzy, we went last year and we were hooked. It was such a good weekend. So we're pumped to be doing it again, Diz.
Yeah, it was a fantastic weekend, and we were hoping to get the same accommodation. We were a little bit slack with that.
We were.
We've now found a equally as suitable location, and we're looking forward to it. And that'll be here before we bloody well know it.
Do we go fishing on the Friday and call it a work trip?
I think so. I think that's a good call.
Go fish the Port Phillip Bay for a few flatties?
Yeah, I was going to say, who do we know in those parts? Maybe we'll get one of the Salt Guide crew to take us out.
I used to smash the flathead down at Dramata in the bay in the tinny. I'll show you where they are, mate.
There you go. All right, roll it into the lemon, mate. What do you got?
Dizzy, I am going to say that we caught a lot of bycatch, a lot of shitties. We were plagued by them on the weekend, Diz. Normally I smash whiting and you keep yourself entertained with, silver trevally and leather jackets, but they were everywhere.
They were, mate.
Snapper, red mullet, leather jackets, wrasse, the whole works. Tommies, we caught everything.
Yeah. No, not too many trevally.
I don't think we caught a trevally, did we?
No.
That's rare.
It's very rare for me not to bring in a decent haul of trevally, but anyway.
But there were a lot of them.
There certainly was, that's for sure. Righto, Brody, I've got a lemon for you, and it is the absolute bunch of keyboard warriors saying they didn't know about the RecFish Forum.
Dizzy, I love this one because you can actually say whatever you like about RecFish and the event and whatever else, but you cannot possibly say you didn't know it was on unless you had your head under a rock.
Have a somewhat informed opinion and post. That was absolutely ridiculous. That was being posted now for months.
Asher posted it on every single one of those Facebook fishing pages, the same ones that people are on complaining about it.
Honestly.
And I went back and had a look. He posted on every one. It was emailed out. We talked about it on the podcast. Surely anyone that's got half an interest in fishing is listening to this anyway, Diz.
True that, mate. Great call. But that was definitely a downer of my fortnight with those keyboard warriors. And all I got thinking was how sad a life must they have to think that was what they were going to take away or try and pick at. So
just come out and say you don't care and you didn't go.
Yeah.
Don't say you didn't hear about it.
Yeah, have some sort of educated opinion about it. But saying I didn't know was ridiculous. Anyway, merch update, Rody. We've still got some hats and beanies lying around. You had the beanie on for the weekend. We put some photos up. You were looking absolutely shocking.
What was better, the beanie or the speed dealers?
Second event that I've been to recently with you where you forgot your sunnies, which was really poor form. Because it was a lovely morning. The sun was out. As soon as the sun got up in there, it was a beautiful morning. So, yeah, really weird shout not to pack the sunnies. And then to have Dad's sort of very much speed dealer wraparound sunnies on with the beanie was an interesting combo.
They did the job.
Very good. Rody.
And we do still have some T-shirts, Diz. I should do a little stock take of what size.
You should.
We've got a couple left.
Yeah, good call because people might want them. They're good. They're good childcare shirts if you've got kids.
Mate, that's all Lou wants to wear.
No,
and it's actually, we should have plugged this. It's Mother's Day. What better present could you get for your mum?
That is a great call. Absolutely. Love that. All right, Rody, let's get into the news.
Rody and Diz have been searching far and wide to bring you the latest news across all fishing in the state and will give you the rundown on what you need to know.
Righto, Rody, let's get started on the news segment. We are looking forward to having a chat with Rick later on today because he was our guy on the scene for the first RecFish Forum. But the RecFish Forums are now officially underway. So the first one, which was held at the Lakes Resort, I think it was, at West Lakes, that is done and dusted. The next one, they're going out to the Regents, Mount Gambier, May 18. Look, I think it's... It'll be great to hear from Rick, I think, about what happened on the night, Rody. I'm sure that RecFish will do a bit of a summary of some of the takeaways towards the end of the forums that they're hosting. But I think it was safe to say that there was some good takeaways from that meeting, Rody.
Yeah, Diz, I was parenting. Lucy was out, so I had to look after Lil, but I did chuck the live stream on for a little while, and from what I saw, it looked pretty good. I'm going to try and make an effort to either get to one of them or potentially live stream the whole lot if I can't make it to one of those rural ones, Diz. But it says here that there was a heap of comments, firstly on the Facebook page. There's since been 55 written submissions and 22 email responses. So they're calling out for anyone who wasn't able to attend or wasn't able to get their question up to email in any questions that they may have, and they'll be covered in future forums. The next one of them, Dizzy, is at Mount Gambier, at the Mount Gambier Golf Club.
There you go. Lovely golf course.
May 18th, Saturday, May 18th. So we could, I'm in Melbourne that weekend actually. Otherwise we could have gone and played golf.
Yeah, they're going out to the regions, mate. It's
a few
good.
beers and
it's
then
good stuff.
going in the forum.
Got no issue with it at all. I think, where are the others, Rody? Have you got that to hand? I think, is there one?
There's one in the Riverland,
There's one at Port Lincoln?
the 20th of July, and then they're doing Port Lincoln on the 20th of June and then Whyalla on the 21st of June.
Yeah, great stuff.
So a 2-day sort of West Coast Air Peninsula journey.
Yeah, you got to do that to cover it off. I mean, Port Lincoln.
And a Riverland
there's
job.
going to be a good turnout at Port Lincoln, given how important wreck fishing is to that community. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, I haven't been over there recently. It's a big thing. I have heard a few people questioning whether there should be one on Yorks or the Flurio Peninsula, but we'll see if anything comes of that.
Yeah. We'll keep close on that, and like I say, we'll have a bit more of a chat with Rick later on today to hear about the first one. So that's going to be good. We'll look forward to that. Rody, $1 million fish. The $1 million barra, of course, has been caught in the Northern Territory. That's been doing the rounds on the news, no doubt about it. What a life-changing fish that must have been. I tell you what, if that wasn't up there in our 5 questions, tell us about your best fish, then you'd be kidding yourself, wouldn't you?
Well, the first part of that is when can we get something like this going here?
Yes.
Because I'd quit my day job if I was a chance to get $1 million fish.
Do we have the $5,000 carp or a $500 carp?
We had the Murray cod.
Yeah, but there
at
was
Happy Valley.
Yeah, but there was also a carp down at Mawson Lakes that had a bit
there
of
was
a dollar
too.
value on it.
$10,000 or something. Maybe we went out there when we were younger, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't know how much that was. 10,000 seems like
It was a radio thing, I reckon.
Yeah.
We were really hungover.
I don't think that was ever caught.
It was a Sunday and we were pretty hungover.
Yeah, no surprises there.
Dizzy, but a massive effort. So Keegan Payne was the big winner. He is a diehard fisher from the rural town of Katherine. He's 19. He caught a $1 million barra, and I've just read some details here, Diz. So he wants to buy a car and a boat, so good on him.
Yep.
Fish went 67 centimetres, so good on him for catching that one. And it's
not a massive barra.
No, it wasn't. It was caught in the Katherine River, Diz.
Okay.
And I didn't realise this, Diz, but it was caught on the last day of the competition.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It says that here on this ABC News article.
Geez, the people who sponsor this barra must have been absolutely filthy at that. That's just ruined them.
Yeah, so it's sponsored by Sportsbet, Diz. So they
okay, Sportsbet. Well, they won't be too spewing $1 million.
And I think that's the first time it's been won. I'm just reading here. It's been running since 2015, and I'm pretty sure that no one's ever caught the $1 million fish, Dizzy. So it's a huge effort for Keegan Payne. He was out fishing with his mates, and his sister, his younger sister, was the first one to spot the tag, and then I think they all went nuts.
Do you think there's a bit of sharing going on amongst those fishing? Oh. Like if we went up there, I know that you wouldn't give me a cent of it.
Would we go halves or?
You wouldn't give me a cent of it. You'd just run off and start your own little podcast on the side. Buy yourself a new boat.
I could
occasionally invite me out.
I could start a reality show, Diz. Like what would I call it? I'd call it Who Wants to Be a Podcast Host, not Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
True. Very good. All right. Well, yeah. No. Very glad for that. 19-year-old winning $1 million. I really hope he spends it wisely.
Yeah, exactly right, Diz.
And by wisely, I mean go down to your nearest tackle store and drop $100,000 a week for the next however many weeks until you've blown it all. But nah, good on you, mate. Well done. We love that. Yeah, very good. Very good. Brody, what else we got in the news, mate?
Dizzy, we've got some. This is a bit of. We don't normally go this way on the news, but there's been
sightings.
Some interesting sightings, hasn't there, Diz?
Yes.
So this one was down at Petrel Cove at Victor Harbour, and it was a sunfish.
Yeah, they're
washed up.
They're weird looking species.
And this was probably a week ago, I reckon, Diz.
Yeah.
This photo's from.
About that, yeah.
And yeah, don't know what happened to it, how it died, might have got hit by a boat or something. I know they hit the yachts in the Sydney to Hobart and all them, don't they?
Yeah, they do. It's no surprise because they like, hence their name, sunfish. They do spend a fair bit of the time at the top of the water column, I think.
Yeah, and we should share this one, Diz, because it's a cool looking fish. I think we might actually share this one on our social media. If you've never seen a sunfish, Google it.
Yeah,
funny looking things. They're massive. They'd have to weigh a ton, wouldn't they?
Yeah, who knows what they'd weigh.
They're pretty big.
I wondered whether there'd been some wild weather down at Petrel Cove that kind of just got trapped in the little sort of, cove, but the little bay there and just couldn't find his way out.
This is a quick Google, Diz, so don't sort of quote me on this. I don't need to fight about it, but it says 250 kilos to 2 ton is the weight of a sunfish.
So you're sort of suggesting that it might have been an average one around the ton mark.
A common sunfish weigh on average 1 metric ton. So I was actually bang on.
You knew that before you said it, mate. Come on, the listeners aren't seriously going to expect you to get it right like that.
All right, Diz, where else has there been something cool seen?
So Port Wakefield, of all places, Rhodey, we did just go through there recently. There's been some blanket squid spotted there.
Blanket octopus.
Blanket octopus?
Yeah, blanket octopus. I don't know whether I wrote the wrong thing, but it was a blanket octopus, I believe.
Yeah, what were the sort of reporters on the scene suggesting?
Well, there's a video here that I saw streamed on social media. A commercial fisherman has captured vision. It was just in the shallows, swimming over the reeds, and they're like it's hard to describe. I suppose it's an octopus, but all its 8 legs are joined with a webbing almost.
Yeah, right.
Is that how you describe it? Webbing?
Sounds about right. I guess in a way it probably looks a little bit like a blanket.
They do, yeah. I suppose it's like it says here it's a transparent web that connects the dorsal and dorsolateral arms of the adult females.
Interesting.
So anyway, Diz, I've certainly never seen one of them.
No, I certainly haven't either.
And I think a lot of other people haven't. I don't think they're very common in this region, Diz. So that was a cool sighting.
Yeah, look, You do wonder these days with a lot of these sightings, whether they've happened for quite some time and we've just got better at social media and the word gets out there much quicker to a bigger audience, or whether these types of things are particularly rare and they're happening more frequently. Your thoughts on that?
Well, according to the Great Barrier Reef Foundation, they are found in both subtropical and tropical oceans, living amongst coral reefs. So that would indicate they're not that common here.
Okay, well, there you go. That answers the question.
Atlantic Ocean, Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean, and the Mediterranean Sea are the common areas. Atlantic and Pacific Oceans.
Nice. Very good, Rhodey. All right, mate. Well, that just about wraps up our nice little news segment we had there.
That was short and sharp, Diz, but we covered some good stuff.
I've got a question for you, only because I was thinking, because we were talking about the $1 million barrow with the tags. How do we get notified if our captures of recent times happen to be recaptured?
I assume they might call you. I think you put your phone number on the tags.
They get in touch with you. That'd be an interesting phone call, wouldn't it? Because you'd get a recapture certificate, or you can download one or something. You see them circulating quite a bit. So anyway, not that I'm expecting those tuna or sambos to be recaptured anytime soon, but you just never know.
And talking about recaptures, Diz, you've just made me think of this. I did see actually, when was that? Must have been this week. Ash Smith, from the
yes, I did
what's
see
the charter called over there? Lower Air Peninsula Charters?
Yeah, that might be
off the top of my head. Anyway, he had someone recapture one of his, I think it was a Samson fish, Diz. I don't have the post in front of me because you didn't give me any warning you were going to go off on this tangent. But someone recaught one of his Samson fish. I think it was recaught on his boat again, and it had travelled only 250 metres in, I think, 8 years, Diz.
Wow.
So that's remarkable, isn't it? I've actually just found it here. So I was tagged in 2015 with me, and it was recaught by Carl just the other day. 3,388 days later, it only went 250 metres and grew 19 centimetres.
Wow, that's amazing. So entirely different to something like some of those recaptures you see of kingfish that have covered like the best part of the whole bloomin' country.
I suppose the interesting thing, obviously these tags are only sort of... You're only able to get the information off them when they're recaught. But if it was one of those tracking tags, that thing could have pissed off to Western Australia and then came back.
True.
Who knows?
True. Good stuff. All right, Rhodey, sorry about that tangent, but I sometimes just like putting you on the spot to really test your knowledge.
I did pretty well then. Did a quick little Facebook search, got it up. I knew roughly what I was looking for, and we went bang.
Good call. Next segment, Rhodey, hit us up.
Now it's time for Rhodey and Diz to really show you what it means to have all the gear with a lot of idea as they review a tackle item of the week.
Okay, I'm going to run you through the tackle item of this week. We are, of course, going to be talking about the Shimano mesh landing net. They are premium. We have a couple of different sizes on our boat. We like to have the larger one if we're going offshore. We like to net our tuna to take good care of them. Of course, we use the knotless net that Shimano have produced. They are fantastic. Rhodey, you don't mind using the smaller one to land some squid?
Dizzy, we, like as everyone knows, when you get on a school of squid, it can get pretty frantic.
Yes.
And that small net that we had on the weekend on your dad's boat was great for just whipping in behind the squid, letting them ink in the net. The ink just slides straight out of the mesh on the boat, in the bucket, karate chop to the head, put them out of their misery. And it's just that short handle's perfect for squidding.
Yeah.
It's really easy to get in and out and move around. It's very manoeuvrable. And it's just a really good net to have, Diz.
Yeah, it is, mate. It's really good. Completely agree. These Shimano's landing nets, they're excellent. They are made of, it's like a silicon-coated nylon mesh. Exceptionally durable. Will certainly withstand the harshest of environments and will definitely get your squid nice and safely on board.
And how good was the weekend? Not only did Davo put the boat in and clean the boat, he was also at decking. You and I were just going squid after squid. He didn't even put a rod in because he just was netting ours, cleaning ours, putting them away, spraying down. He was on the deck wash.
He did.
It was like a dead set charter we were on the weekend.
It was a bit of a charter. He had that weird setup with the with the squid jag attached to some mono, which was then
this should
attached
be
to
our-
some elastic.
That could have been our tackle item for next week.
Let's talk through that next week. We won't say much more than that. It actually worked exceptionally well. I'm not sure that it's regulation, but hey, sometimes you've got to innovate.
Do you reckon we could ring up Mr. Shimano and say, we've got your next big moneymaker, steal Davo's idea and run with
go
it?
global? I think he'd laugh at us, to be perfectly honest.
Anyway, we'll tease that for next episode.
Good call. All right, let's wrap up the tackle item there, mate. Now we, of course, are going to have one of the crew behind Team Hardcore, Rick. Let's call him up, Brody, and have a chat.
Now it's time to get our guest on the line. We'll ask them the all-important 5 questions, then chat all things fishing in SA.
All right, dears, we are joined by our guest on the line, Rick Kozoolin. He is the man behind Team Hardcore Fishing SA, one of the great fishing Instagram pages. Rick, welcome to the show.
Good evening, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to finally have a chat with you.
Thanks, Rick. You've been great, fantastic at sharing all of your fishing adventures with us. You've made us extremely envious at times, and we can't wait to talk about the fishing and your Instagram page a bit later on. But first, let's get into the 5 questions that we ask all of our guests. So kick us off by telling us about your best fish, Rick.
My best fish, or my biggest fish, should I say, would have to be a kingfish from Port Augusta that measured 1.60 m. That was a 1.60 fork length as well, mind you. So it was a big hua. But I don't really feel like I've really accomplished a whole heap with that one because I was only a kid at the time, fishing with Dad and his mates. So of recent times, the most serious fish that I caught, or one that I can really brag about and one I'm really proud of, is a mulloway on the far west coast. So that went 1.42 m, an easy, comfortable 60-pounder. So that's sort of the holy grail. It was a screaming hot 47-degree day, I think it was, on the beach. And it was a bit of it was a scorcher, and I forgot my booties back at the house we were staying at, so walking barefoot on the sand and wasn't very comfortable. But up until then, I hadn't even caught a legal mulloway, and then in one day managed a fish around 1 metre, which I was stoked with because I'd put in hours and hours for no results. And then, later that afternoon, just before we had a bit of a storm front rolling through, the big one come along, and after about 15 minutes, she washed it on the surf, and we jammed some tags in it through SAF tag, and she swam off healthy and strong.
Beautiful, Diz. I would love to have that problem of whether I give my 140 centimetre mulloway or my 160 centimetre kingfish for my favourite fish, but we're not all that lucky, Rick.
That just means you boys have to get out there and fish a bit more, I reckon.
All right, Rick, tell us your favourite thing about fishing.
I love to get away from the hustle and bustle, which is probably a pretty common theme with most of your guests. I'm not a fan of going away on long weekends. I like to stay at home and work on the long weekends and then go while everyone else is back at work. It's just a time to get away from the usual run of the mill and get some fishing going, get some fish under the belt.
Geez, Rick, you need to keep that one to yourself, mate. Too many people will start copying you by working on the long weekends and going away. That's a great call. I know exactly what you mean there with long weekends. You end up sitting in a hell of a lot more traffic than you usually do, and there's people everywhere. So that's a good tip, mate. Tell us your first fishing memory or what got you into it.
I've grown up around Port Adelaide. I've been here my whole life, basically. Fishing with Dad, fishing in the Port River, and it was as simple as a half a pilchard on a hook and catching bream and salmon trout in the port. And back then there were lots of numbers of bream getting caught back when I was a kid, and I'd love to still have it that way. You could go out and almost guarantee a half a dozen to a dozen fish. But, we don't see that much more anymore.
No, well, hopefully we get back there one day, Rick. Now, tell us, what is your favourite sort of fishing and why? You've already listed a couple of real iconic South Australian fish, the mulloway and the kingfish. Is it one of them?
Oh, yeah, they're high up on the list, but I reckon depending on what time of year you ask me, I'll give you a different answer. So definitely over the sort of summer months and leading into autumn, it's all about offshore, jigging and chucking big stick baits for the big kingfish. Watching a kingfish hoovering it off the surface is definitely something to behold. But now, sort of this time of year, I'm starting to think about the big Murray cod. So we've got a couple trips in the pipeline. So hopefully we can go sink some hooks into one.
Love it. Geez, we can't wait to see some of your adventures on your Instagram page. You're great at keeping everyone up to date with what you're up to, so that'll be good. Now, on one of these trips you go away, Rick, you must have a funny fishing story, or maybe tell us about the one that got away.
Well, there's a lot of funny stories from a lot of trips. A lot of them you sort of forget about as time goes on, but one I had to think about this, and one I can't actually remember it. I've just been told because I was just a kid at the time. This goes back to fishing in the port with the old man, and it was probably my first fish as well, I reckon. Was just a little shitty, bit of bycatch while fishing there. And because it was my first fish, I didn't want to let it go. I wanted to take it home. So Dad's put it in the bucket. We've taken it home. I've shown Mum when we've got home, all excited. And take some photos being your first fish. And because it was my fish, I had a little like a push along cart with a compartment that you used to sit on. So I popped the shitty in there, and it was my prized possession. And after about 3 days of it festering in there, Mum and Dad were trying to figure out what the smell was. They're there checking me undies and looking around the house, and eventually they found it, and there was a shitty that had let's say started to decompose slightly, and it was pretty rancid.
Oh, nasty stuff! You've only come on in leaps and bounds from there, Rick.
Oh yeah, you got to start somewhere, don't you?
Good call. All right, now Rick, talk us through the Instagram page, mate. There's a few of you behind Team Hardcore. You lead the charge a bit, if you like. Where'd the name come from? Who else is involved? Tell us a bit about your Instagram page.
So the name come from years by my old man and uncle and all of their mates. Sort of, they were doing the same thing we were doing, I guess, going out on trips and trying to catch fish. And they went on a fishing charter, I believe, at some stage up north somewhere. And they had to come up with a team name for the boat that they were on, or for the tender that they were fishing off the mother boat with. And one of the fellas come up with Team Hardcore, and it sort of just stuck. And as they all sort of started getting older and slowing down in their big trips, we just adopted the name, and it sort of stuck.
Beautiful. Well, that's a story. Now tell us who's in the crew currently. Who do you fish with?
I've got my brother who I'm halves in a boat with. So we do most of the fishing together. If he's not taking it out, I'm taking it out, or we're together at the same time. And anyone that's seen the Instagram page will probably have seen a couple other faces that pop up. So there's two or three other close mates that come quite regularly. And we all just want the same thing, is just to sink some hooks into some fish. And we've always said the whole time, every time we go fishing, we don't care who catches one, as long as someone catches something and we all get to see it. That's the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we can definitely relate to that. We've got a similar story. We share a boat together and like to get away, but it's nothing like those weekends away. If you're not into weekends away and doing a bit of fishing, then you probably listen to the wrong podcast with us. But we can certainly relate to that, mate. Getting away with your mates in the outdoors, taking the boat away, it's nothing beats it, really.
Nothing beats it. And at the end of the day, after a day of fishing, you can sit back and have a few coldies and unwind and debrief and figure out what you did right, figure out what you did wrong, and try and adapt and make it work for next time.
Beautiful, Rick. You're certainly right there. You've always got a theory for the next day, don't you? Now tell us about your boat. That's the other thing. Me and my brother, we've got a 5.8 trailcraft. So it's a big aluminium, WA built boat. Real tough and a hardcore boat, if you want to call it that. So 5.8, it's measured by waterline, so it's a bit bigger than 5.8 if you compare it to like other boats that are on the market. So, you could probably call it a 6.5 metre, but yeah, it serves us well. It's
definitely not the nicest riding boat for anyone that's been in a trailcraft. I'm sure they can attest to that. But yeah, super stable when you're on anchor and drifting, and easy to, being an aluminium, it's not too bad to tow around and easy to beach launch. So yeah, it gets the job done.
Beautiful, Rick. And mate, I know this will probably depend on what time of year. We've heard that from you so far, but where do you sort of do most of your fishing?
I do a lot of like beach fishing for mulloway and shark and salmon over the far west coast. Myself and my brother, we bought a place in Fowler's Bay. So any of your listeners that head out there, hit me up because the place is up for rent. If anyone wants to stay there for a week. Nice. But yeah, that's most of my land-based fishing is done there, and fish with the tinny in the bay a little bit. And all the offshore fishing mostly is all done out towards Greenlee Island. So out launching from Farm Beach and cruising out there and out to Greenlee and Rocky Island. That's where most of the jigging and stick baiting's done.
Beautiful. We're very jealous of that, Diz. We've got to get over there to Greenlee and Rocky Island again, don't we?
Yes, we certainly do.
You boys might need to hit up Ash Smith and get a charter done out there. He's definitely a guru for getting us onto the fish.
We were actually just talking about him just 10 minutes ago, Rick. So you must have heard his ears burning, did you?
I must have. I reckon he shut up shop for the year, so you'll be waiting till next summer, I reckon.
Hopefully we'll maybe try and get first cab off the ranks next summer. So yeah, we follow him. He absolutely looks like he has a great day out in the water, and definitely does the damage on some big fish. That's for sure.
That's it.
All right, now Rick, we decided you were the man best equipped, or one of the men in the state that's best equipped to answer this question. You catch a heap of kingfish. We see a lot of Samson fish in your Instagram feed as well. Which one is the harder fighting fish?
You probably would have seen a few videos I posted lately of Samson getting landed and then fish getting busted off, and I have a pretty good feeling that the fish that busted me off were the kingfish. But yeah, kingfish, they just do not quit until you get to the side of the boat. Like, not to take anything away from a Samson, they still hit a jig hard as nails and pull line, and you've caught one when you get it to the boat. But the kingfish are just a level above. They just do not quit. All the way to the side of the boat, they'll just keep going and going and going. So yeah, they got to be probably the premier sports fish in the country, not just the state, in my opinion. I haven't caught anything like a GT or anything like that, but from the stories that I've heard from people that have caught both, kingfish are just a level beyond. They just do not quit.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong there, Rick. But we thought we might get it from the expert. Have you got any idea how many big kingfish and Samson fish, say over a metre, you've caught over the years?
You put me on the spot. I reckon the numbers would be in the hundreds if you put them together, Samson and kingfish. Probably more Samson than kingfish. I just seem to find them easier to find and easier to jig up. But yeah, the big kingfish of recent years have actually eluded me, to be honest. Lots of good fish over a metre, but the big donkeys that getting over the metre 30, metre 40 mark, I haven't been able to find lately. So yeah, hopefully next summer we change that one.
And most of that's jigging, is it, Rick?
A lot of jigging. In the early days, we used to do a fair bit at Port Augusta and Point Lowly, live baiting for the kingfish there. So we did pretty right there. This is, back in the days before people were down rigging and side scanning and chucking jigs. It was just anchor up and send some squid out on balloons. So yeah, we did all right there back in the early days. And yeah, Point Lowly as well. In some recent years, we've had some pretty good days out there. But yeah, mostly offshore. And yeah, jigging or up around Greenlee, chucking stick baits in the anchorage, chucking big foot-long stick baits. The fish definitely gets them excited.
Yeah, geez, I can't believe your arms are still attached, Rick. Buddy, over 100 over a metre. That is epic, mate. We love that. Now, Rick, we want to hear from you about the RecFish Forum. You did head along to the first one, which was at West Lakes. We was really keen to have a chat with you about it because, impartial to whether, RecFish were not sort of getting a biased opinion here from someone who was organising the event. So it's great to have you on, and thank you for doing that. Tell us about the night, mate, a bit of an overview of how you thought it went.
So the night was a good night, but left a lot of questions unanswered, I think. It felt like a bit more of a meet and greet with the RecFish crew more than anything else. It was a great night at the lakes there, and a lot of faces that I knew and a lot of faces that I didn't know, and got to meet a few people within RecFish and a few others around there. Like I met Levi there, who I've been corresponding with for the SAF tag stuff for a while now, but never actually spoke to face to face. So yeah, it was good to see a few faces there. The general consensus of the night, though, there wasn't as many people there as I was expecting or would have liked to see. Like, there's meant to be 350-something thousand RecFishers in the state, and I reckon there was probably only about 50, 60 people in the room, which, I was expecting a lot more. It was probably a bit poor to see, really, like considering that there are meant to be that many people that are passionate about fishing. I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's because no one was interested, or I know RecFish struggle a little bit. Their hands are probably tied a little bit with getting the information out, and that's one of the things we touched on, is just getting the information out to people. Like they said, they've only got like 5,000 people on their email list, which is nowhere near enough, and emails obviously they get glossed over and looked over, and people don't always open them, or they go to your junk file. So it makes it hard to get in touch with all the community, like the fishing community, to get along to these kind of events.
Yeah, it's interesting, Rick. I probably would have thought there'd be more than that too, but I think there was a lot of people that tuned in online. So maybe these days, live streaming, everything makes it too easy for people to lie on the couch and not actually rock up in person. So I wonder whether that was a part of it. But what were the main sort of topics that were discussed? What did people want to know about? Where were most of the questions directed?
A lot of questions were sort of directed in the education and compliance sort of things around the fishery. So like people doing the wrong things, not through, not saying that they're dodgy fishermen and doing the wrong things on purpose, but one of the concerns was just because they're not educated in like size limits and bag limits and fish species and stuff like that. It was, there were people taking fish when they shouldn't have been and that sort of stuff. And then, that sort of goes back to the communication side of things. It's hard to get the information out there and a lot of people to access that information. I know you can search the PIRSA website and stuff like that, but if you don't have access to those kind of things, how are you really to know?
Yeah, good call. Now, one thing we did also want to ask you about, Rick, was it's obviously been in the media a bit recently. We've had a survey running ourselves around the community's feeling towards a recreational fishing licence. I'm sure it was raised on the night, whether it was briefly discussed at length. Did it come up? What was the feeling? That sort of thing?
It definitely did come up, because I reckon I was the first one to raise the question or the comment of a fishing licence. So there was a heap of dot points written down on a whiteboard there. Ashley was writing them all up as people were sort of yelling them out and discussing and whatnot. And sort of towards the end of it, we touched on a fishing licence, and basically the general consensus between everyone there by the end of it was that a fishing licence is the way to go for the state. It can fix a lot of problems within the state, all the way from the education, communication, compliance sort of things, any data, like boat ramps is a big one, to make boat launching free, all this, like the snapper fishery and everything basically comes down to money. Money is what is needed, and RecFish don't have that kind of funding, so it makes it hard. It makes it hard when you don't have that money. But as soon as you got money coming in, because money talks, that's sort of what our best step forward is to fixing any issues that there are within the South Australian fishery for the RecFishers.
Yeah, and what's your opinion on a licence, Rick? Is that something you're supportive of, or?
I've fished over in Victoria and I've paid for my 3-day licences many and many a times. And I think one thing that people in SA are sort of worried about and sceptical of is the revenue gathered from the fishing licence is just going to go like into the general coffers, into general revenue, where in Victoria, I don't agree with much about the Victorians, but this is one thing I definitely do agree with. They have their Victorian Fishing Authority, which is, it's a government body, but they regulate everything. All the money goes into the Victorian Fishing Authority. All the money goes out of the Fishing Authority. It's not touched by any other government department, so it's all put straight back into the fishing sector. And if you're doing that, like I just did some quick sums on the night in my head. There's meant to be 350,000 or thereabouts rec fishermen, but even if you cut that down to 150,000 rec fishermen, say full-time fishermen would go fishing more than 10 times a year. People that would buy a year-long fishing license with 150,000 people at $35 a year for a license, there's $5.25 million straight away raised in revenue there. And as soon as you got that revenue, that's when governments start listening. That's when things can actually get done, whether it be like boat ramp maintenance, making boat ramps free, jetty maintenance. That was another big topic of the night. Jetties getting closed down all over the state. As soon as you've got that money coming in, you can push it around across the area. And I know people are going to say, well, I don't have a boat. Why should I worry about boat ramps being free? But if the money gets shared around appropriately across boat ramps, across, fish cleaning facilities, across jetties, across infrastructure, programs like reeling in junior anglers, money's going to go to there, which is in turn going to bring on better education for people. So it's just, there's no point arguing about what's wrong and what should be done. Why not just jump to it, get a fishing license? It's got to be better than what we're doing now. Like, what we're doing now is hopeless. And that's not RecFish's fault. Their hands are sort of tied. They can only do what they do, and they're doing the best they can with what they've got. But as soon as you bring that income stream and that revenue's coming in, things can actually get done. That's the main thing, and that's probably what everyone agreed on. That was at the night. By the end of the night, is we need to do something along those lines to get the ball rolling and get things happening.
Yeah, beautiful, Rick. That's a pretty good summary of it, of the night there. The only other thing I did want to touch on quickly, I am 100% positive that snapper would have been a big talking point. Can you tell us about how that went in terms of, what's being done to make sure the fisheries opens up again as scheduled, and also about some of the commercial stuff that I'm sure was discussed, whether that was buyback or banning certain types of fishing or anything like that?
It was a topic that was touched on. It wasn't a massive topic. It was sort of just spoken about briefly, but there was no mention of when the snapper opening would come back, like when we can go and catch snapper again. But again, it loops back around to that fishing license thing of, once you got that revenue coming in, you can buy back licenses from the commercial sector, and then do a lot more research into the commercial sector side of things and the rec side of things, but there wasn't anything mentioned. I know everyone's probably was hoping there would be, but there wasn't anything mentioned of a when we're going to be able to catch snapper again, or how many we're going to be able to catch when we do bring it back in. So yeah, I think the main thing that was said is it's all dependent on PIRSA and what they have to say when the end of this three-year extension finishes, whenever that's meant to be.
Yeah, all good, Rick. I can imagine that, like RecFish, their hands are tied. It is down to what PIRSA says with the science and the stats from having attended those sort of things. But we'll keenly await any more updates on that as the ban goes on.
That's it, and like you said, RecFish's hands are tied, and if we as recreational fishers won't be able to have a proper say in things like PIRSA's a government agency, SARDI's a government agency. They're the ones that are really controlling our fishery, like the rec sector fishery. They're the ones that say what goes. So until we have like something like a fishing license where we have a proper voice, there's not going to be any real changes to anything in the near future. I don't think. We're still just going to be waiting to see what those government departments have to say.
Beautiful, Rick. That was really good to get an independent review of how the night went. It's great to hear from someone that was in the room, independent, just has the best of rec fishing in what he wants. So it was really great to get an overview from you, Rick.
Not a worry at all.
Awesome, Rick. Thanks, mate. Keep up the great work and we'll chat to you soon.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Dizzy, that was really good to chat with Rick. All things fishing. He catches some bloody impressive fish, and also good, as we said, to get a bit of an independent analysis or review of the RecFish forum that was held the other night.
Yeah, he was. It was very good to have someone from the night, like you say. Clearly a very well accomplished angler is Rick. Over 100 kings/sambos over a metre. That's some pretty impressive numbers right there, Roddy.
Certainly is, Diz. And give him a follow on Instagram. Team Hardcore Fishing SA is his name on the Instagram. They get over to the Eyre Peninsula. As he said, they smash big fish. We're looking forward to seeing them hunt some Murray cod over the cooler months as well.
Good call. Love that. All right, Roddy, let's get into the fishing report, mate.
Rhodey and Diz have been out on the water to bring you the news about where they're biting. Now it's time for the fishing report.
Rhodey, the whiting and squid little trip we did over the weekend was just a pass mark. We put it down to, didn't we? So 10 squid, all of reasonable size, no massive ones. No,
yeah, look, the ones I ate for dinner last night weren't giant, I wouldn't have said. I'd say they were on the smaller end of squid, but not bad.
No. And we sort of battled away for half a dozen whiting.
Yeah, we did. As we said previously, there was a lot of bycatch.
Oh, yeah, huge amount of bycatch. We just couldn't seem to get away from the shitties, really. No matter what we did, we tried all sorts of bait. We moved plenty of times. We just couldn't get away from them.
We must have caught 40 red mullet, I reckon.
Oh, yeah.
We would have caught 10 to 15 baby snapper. We would have caught, plenty of leather jackets.
Yeah, there was a whole stack of leather jackets, that's for sure.
And, just 6 whiting. So, it's a feed. It's not more than a feed. It's it's better than laying on the couch for your Sunday morning, Diz. I'll give you that much.
It was. The weather was very good indeed. It was beautiful on Yorks. Hardly any wind. Sun was shining. It was great. Like you said earlier, getting the royal treatment from my parents was nothing wrong with that at all. Easy fishing day. Good fun all round.
You're right, Diz, and it did get hot. I had my waders, I had my jacket, I had my beanie, and my God, I was hot. I was stripping off layers like it was going out of fashion.
I know, sort of when we got on the boat, Dad wasn't sure whether we were going to start driving to Antarctica with the way that you were kitted up.
Well, I don't know about you, but I reckon you just go from once summer's finished, you're into autumn, you're in your winter gear.
Yeah, don't mind it. All right, Rhodey, what else have we got in the fishing report? I'm hearing some barrels over at Port Mac. They are doing well.
The fishing comp is on at the moment, Diz, and I haven't seen heaps of pictures of barrels in the comp. They have certainly been getting a few and plenty of other sort of more school-sized tuna by the looks, some mako sharks, gummy sharks and the likes, Diz. But certainly before the competition started, I know Tice from Want to Fish was smashing them. Yeah,
he's been doing really well. I think one of the posts I saw where he had people over there for 3 days got fish on 3 consecutive days.
That's pretty good going, Diz.
That's really good going. Now, I think there were he sort of estimated some 35 to 40 kilo fish, as well as I think some 70s or thereabouts that they were estimates. They sort of swum away happy and healthy, being the tuna champion that Tyson, of course, is. But, he's been doing very well.
And that'd be a cool competition to go to, that Port Macdonnell fishing comp, is because you can fish for all different species.
Yep.
There's people in boats. There's people fishing off the beach.
Yeah.
You can go and catch whiting and flathead, and then you can go and catch barrels.
Yeah, good shout. And it's no surprise that Troll So Hard's lures are doing the damage on the barrels for Tice. He trusts Flacky with his barrel candy.
He certainly does, Diz. And this is some breaking news down from the southeast, Diz. I don't even know if you're across this one.
Wow.
This was on the Portland Bait and Tackle page, so just across the border into Victoria. 165 kilo barrel weighed in this evening.
Wow.
That's a big fish.
That is a big fish.
Do you remember what remember when we had Bodie on the show, what his biggest from down there was?
Was it 100
from Port Mac?
50-ish?
Yeah, I was going to say between 150 and 160. I'm sure someone will jump on and let us know, but 165 kilo barrel is about as big as you ever hear.
Yeah, definitely. That's an absolute beast, Rhodey. So, hot off the press. We love that from you, Rhodey. Well done.
All right, Diz, and the other little bit of fishing report we got was from the Port Lincoln crew. Some mates we made at the fishing comp, the tuna comp recently, Diz?
Yes. Yeah, they of course, we're talking about Steve and Ash, the brains behind the Lincoln comp.
Yes, former guests of the podcast as well,
Former
Diz.
guests of the podcast. Looks like they took the Veach out.
They did. Tony's Veach.
Absolute weapon of a boat. They got out to the shelf, probably got out there in about 15 minutes, knowing how fast that thing goes. And as I said to them, it looked like it was a lake out there that they were fishing on. It was an absolute mirror. The weather looked elite. They had some photo of some blue eye, I think it might have been. Was it Rhodey or was it some Hapuka?
I think the pictures were blue eye, but yeah,
Okay.
they did, I think, get some Hapuka too. And look, I've never done that sort of fishing. I'd love to do it.
Yeah.
But they're all supposed to be good fishing, good eating, I mean.
Yes. Yeah.
So they said they were fishing 400 to 600 metres of depth. And they
Wow.
lost a monster, possibly a sword.
Jeez, that's huge news.
So, Diz, that would be great fun, Diz. No doubt about it. So they got pink ling and blue grenadier, a.k.a. Hokey.
Nice. Well, there'll be some good eating for those guys.
Oh, yeah.
Love that. Well, maybe we can't wait to keep in touch with those boys to see what's coming next. Hopefully a sword beside the boat.
Do you think all these people, like we talk about these guys from Port Lincoln, the Tuna Comp crew, we talk about Team Hardcore Fishing, we talk about Tyson. Do you think all these people that we meet through the podcast, we have on as guests, and then we follow their fishing journeys, do you think it's doing good or bad for our mental health, seeing everyone else's success when we're sitting here doing nothing?
Probably.
Everyone's out there catching these monster fish, and we're just here talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I suppose it's just that all the gear but no idea life we live.
It is. We're just here with a podcast mic and a computer. And
Do you want to pack up? Do you want to pack up and move to Lincoln or
should we
something?
go on the road? Should we do a road show for a year?
Okay, I can just leave the kids behind.
Do 3 months in Lincoln, 3 months at Streaky or something.
Bit of an all the gear but no idea road show.
3 months at Port Macdonnell. 3 months up at the Murray catching cod.
And probably still come back with no fish and no idea. Oh, dear. It's been good, Rhodey. Good little episode, mate.
Yeah, I didn't mean to get all deep and meaningful there.
Yeah,
at the
you
end.
certainly did. And you've really put a downer on
Start
the end of that
bringing mental
episode.
health into it. and
You are.
Everyone's just making me jealous tonight, Diz.
Yeah, no, fair enough. All right,
Diz,
Rhodey.
thanks to Rick for coming on. Episode 109. Make sure you jump on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that sort of stuff. Give us a subscribe. Give us a rating if you want to give some feedback about, Dizzy's personality or his hairline or anything like that. Jump on, give some feedback. Give us a 5-star rating if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, we love feedback. Good stuff, Rhodey. You'll find us on Facebook. You'll find us on Instagram. You'll find it on anywhere you get your podcasts. And good to chat with you again. 109, over and out.
Rhodey and Diz hope you enjoyed today's episode of All the Gear But No Idea. Keep up to date by liking and sharing us on Facebook and Instagram. And you can subscribe on all the major podcast platforms. Until next time, good luck fishing.